Indian population, when they go abroad, we are ruling the world. Okay, you look at any top corporate.
Absolutely.
And so stories. Why are children afraid of maths? We used to have those Russian books.
Okay.
They used to give us stories. So problem sums, the rabbit jumps, okay? So that rabbit cartoon and me being the visual learner, mathematics probably is in our genes. But even then, you ask a school going child, so afraid of maths. Coming to ChatGPT, we are in the first phase. In our PhD days, we didn't have this software. But later, people who did PhD, you copy and you get caught. So here also the teacher would know. Now it is up to the parent also, Like the internet is there, all the time the eyeballs are there.
Right.
Somehow we have to understand what is he browsing. What do I want my child to become? A class 3 student writing an essay where pointers are given, puts the pointers and kind of copy pastes whatever is in ChatGPT, fair enough, even if he's not caught today. You don't want your child to be imaginative. You don't want your child to be formative.
Too much
It's
shortcuts.
up to you. I mean, parents have some responsibility. People do follow shortcuts. But at the end of the day, what do you want to become? And this pressure on, everybody wants to become an engineer and a doctor, I think that's coming down, When do we take an insurance? Do we take it right after we start earning? When we are young? Sure. I mean, the premiums are much lower. So these are certain things which should be taught in the curriculum.
Welcome back to NMM Podcast, where we peel the ordinary to get the extraordinary. Today we have with us a very, very special guest, Dr. Mousumi Ghosh, who is not only an educationist, but also a chartered accountant and an entrepreneur. How did your entrepreneurial journey start?
I would say, entrepreneurial journey started when we had 2 children, one was a toddler and the other one, I think this was in 93-ish. So we thought that, rather than handling 2 naughty children at home, let's bring in more children and they'll have friends and whatnot. And we started Children's Learning Club.
Wow.
On weekends. What happened was, in fact, this would lead us to why education later, is that the children, firstly, we were staying in a place called Goria Hut in Calcutta, which had a lot of Montessori schools around.
Yeah.
And this was 92. It was very difficult to get admission in convents. They used to interview the parents, the child had to speak in English and whatnot. So all parents, you have to talk today, kind of. So that learning club, what we did was, my husband is by obsession a painter. And, music is close to my heart. So what we did was, it was a fun club. We had pets and everything. And we used to play songs in English, okay? Even rhymes for that matter. And then the children used to draw. In fact, Shilajit used to look after that. And we used to have those lyrics and we kind of composed tunes and the children sang. So what happened was, little ones who did not speak, I mean, their parents were so anxious. Why is my child not speaking? Okay, started blabbering in English.
Because it was a happy environment.
It was a very happy environment,
Right.
No stress, nothing. But you wouldn't believe it. I mean, the what would I say? The size of the groups went up. We had to have 3 shifts in Sunday, 2 on Saturday, and Thursday evening. I said, what is this happening? I mean, where is our time? So we had to, but we knew that we could do it. And something, we need to think. We need to think about education. We need to think about stress. This was way back in 92. When I think IIM, I taught from 89 to 2002 when Future started.
Oh my
that
God.
too, my professors, who were also professors. In fact, I had done the evening course from IIM Calcutta. So they had told me, look, you're jumping into fire. So I think I was the first one who was given lien to go and build her own organization. So technically, till 2005, I was in IIM Calcutta.
Wow.
2004, 2002 Future started.
As education was so close to you and you always wanted to stay nearby academics, so what made you quit IIM like after 13 years, and what did you teach there?
I used to teach finance, and at that point of time was in the boards of companies, including banks and all that. Had a consultancy vertical was strong. Quitting is a little queer story. In the sense, whenever I was teaching cases to my students, to my management development program participants, to the bankers, whatever it is, in my consultancy assignments also, I always identified with the management. And, I kept talking to myself that, this is not something right. They should have done it this way. And this is one part. And the other part is in 2002, that was the beginning of private education in West Bengal, almost towards the, I would say, early days. Train full of students went to the southern part of the country to do engineering and technical education. I forgot to mention that we had 1 or 2 years. I mean, where did we get our funds to start Future? Because after all, it's a brick and mortar business, if you call it a business at all. It's a charitable trust. Issue is, those days, IT education was just coming. The colleges did not have IT. So NIIT, AppTech, these companies were doing well and people wanted IT training. So we kind of took a franchise of, nobody was giving us franchise because we didn't have money. We didn't have anything actually.
She just had a dream.
and a house in Goriahat where we had done that learning club. Okay. So CMC, somehow that person, I still remember him, he was the only one who had faith in us because we didn't know where we would stay, where we would start this. And in a span of 1.5 to 2 years, we had 4 centers. Each center had about, or the top 2 centers, Goriahat and Shialda, had about 12, 13 apartments to themselves, to the centers. So, but we knew that this is short-lived. Structured education, once the IT comes there,
it'll take over.
This will be. So we knew when to quit. And when we quit, and in those days, since I'm from finance, you'll have to excuse me, the EMI and the rents were more or less the same. The interest rates were such that. So when we started Future, we sold off not only the businesses, but the houses.
Okay.
That gave us the seed money to start Future. So to answer your question, why did I quit IIM?
Right.
One, I identified with management and I wanted to build. In fact, later my husband also quit. So we wanted our dream to come true. Secondly, we somehow could garner the funds, which is very important. Because nobody would give us loan because, where's the security, where's what? So we could buy that stretch of land. That's again another story. With me, it's a bag full of stories.
And that's what we are here for. So tell me one thing. Who had the vision first? It was you or him?
I think me and a very supportive spouse. He said, and he believed, and both of us had done that learning club. He quit much later. At least because we had 2 children.
Right.
So somebody had to earn, in case this doesn't.
He let you frame it all?
Yeah.
And then...
No, and actually he was not in Calcutta at that point. He was posted outside.
Okay.
So later he joined in.
Shifting from education to an entrepreneurial journey, I bet you faced a lot of challenges.
The story is same, whether it's the Children's Learning Club, whether it's CMC, whether it's IIM, whether it's Future. The child or the young adult has to be curious, has to be motivated. The process has to be interesting.
Right.
Teaching, training of parents are important, but the most important resource is faculty. Faculty, and faculty.
Right.
Therefore comes curriculum, how you think out of the box, how you keep yourself updated as a teacher or a faculty member, Otherwise, how do you? And in today's age, the child is going to know more than you. So it's a constant continuing education and keeping your eyes and ears open. And the horizon is now immense, immense. So therefore, it is on the teachers and faculty members to adapt to the you say challenges. I wouldn't say challenges. I would say opportunities. Opportunities, right. Yes. Technology, it's like a sword. You give it to a robber or a surgeon.
Absolutely.
So technology is a boom, if you ask me. Because when we were young, if you ask me that did I miss anything which is there today?
Technology.
Yes, Google was not there. So I can experiment with more things.
Right.
As a facilitator, as a teacher, as a student.
So from the start of your journey to now that we are here today, so how has technology played a role in the whole thing?
See, technology was gradually coming from my CMC days. Yes, in the last, let's say, 7 years or so, pre-pandemic, pandemic, and post-pandemic, pandemic taught us a lot.
It did.
Right?
Right.
We travel less, we have online meetings. So it's going to be a hybrid kind of education, to begin with at least. Because school is not only about learning, only about teacher-students.
Right.
It is a lot about peers.
Right.
You should see the children when they came back after the pandemic. They threw their masks. It was like, after getting a degree, we threw a convocation cap. So
right.
they threw their masks and we had to tell them, no, please wear your mask, wear your mask. So they were so happy. And even parents were paranoid. I mean, learning at home. So I would say empathy, sharing, so many other things other than teaching.
Right.
And teaching learning.
I guess pandemic taught us a lot, a lot of aspects were covered.
Absolutely. But I am only concerned about two things. Concern, nothing more than that. I hope we don't forget to read and write. And also, one good thing has happened. You see, we have different kinds of learners. Right. Some are auditory learners, okay, listening to this podcast. When you listen, for example, when our children were young, we used to sing songs and tell them stories, and we had to do it every day. Even if I'm very, very tired, just came back from Mumbai.
Audio-visual.
You have to. So that is more audio.
Right.
Now you have visual, and visual. So some are visual learners. I would say myself, I'm a little visual learner. I'll give you a small anecdote. I think it was a company law paper, okay? CA final examination.
Oh my God.
A question had come from the footnotes of a book. Okay. It was not nowhere. So, but I could actually visualize that page and that small fine print of writing. I could visualize and answer that question. So I'm a visual learner. There are other learners as well. For example, kinesthetics. You do it with your hands, more experiential. Right. Now, with technology, we can find out what kind of learners and how we can tweak our process a little. See, in our country, it's not possible to have different sections for different learners, but we can tweak. And I am a great proponent of experiential learning. And look at it, like, for instance, geography. You can absolutely see that country now, anytime.
You can see through the ways and like the maps today.
Yeah. And history should not be rote learning of years.
No.
We should learn history through films.
Right.
Through books. Traveling.
Absolutely
going there.
Absolutely right. Huh? Reliving the era.
Yeah, feeling it.
Those engraved walls.
Yeah, if you remember maths, when we were young, we used... That should be way back. I won't tell you my age. You can guess. It's a lot more than I look.
You don't look your age, I bet.
I don't look my age. I admit. And I don't feel it also.
That's more important. Reason. That's more important.
But we used to have those Russian books.
Okay.
They used to give us stories. So problem sums, the rabbit jumps. Okay. So that rabbit cartoon and me being the visual learner. So stories. Why are children afraid of maths? It's a different issue that, Indian population, when they go abroad, we are ruling the world. Okay, you look at any top corporate.
Absolutely.
And mathematics probably is in our genes, but even then, you ask a school going child, so afraid of maths. So why?
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 Because I was about to ask you why.
Two stories. I'm refraining myself from telling too many stories. Issue is, I picked up a child and asked him, which is your favorite subject?
Right.
And which is a subject you hate?
Mm-hmm.
Hate is more or less, 80-85% maths. So I took him to our football field.
Okay.
And showed him another field which was smaller.
Mm.
So I asked him, which field do you like? He said, this one, the bigger one. I said, why? No, you can play football.
Right.
Okay. Can you not play football there?
No. We can, but it's small.
No, you can't play football there. What can you play? Something, he said. I said, okay. So this side is the length. I meant the length and the breadth. I didn't tell him length and breadth. I said, which side is longer? He paused for a moment and then thought about it and then said, this side is longer. So I asked my electrical department. Thankfully, we have a bundled campus, integrated campus. Let him measure. So, this is the way that slowly, problem sums. What is it? It's a story. It's a story you have to. So it is the process of learning, which now you can get the best lectures, best apps, best whatever. I don't know what
Just
is
in the
which is
tip
the
of
best.
your
With
hand.
yeah. This is the boom. And I'll tell you another thing here, which is one of my school, we have several campuses. So one of my school principal, sent a child to me. Why? Because he's failed twice. And this is the third time he's going to fail in his annual exam. What do we do? I said, let him sit in my room. And my room, you can, all kinds of people, the faculty, the vendors, the student come and invite me everywhere. I said, let the child sit here. And I was busy probably in a meeting. I said, okay, I'll talk to you later. Let him sit here. You don't want him in. And he was very restless. So he was disturbing the other students. So I said, "Theek hai, let him sit here. We'll see." And I forgot about him.
Oh. Okay.
Suddenly I saw that he's pulling all the wires. So, I couldn't tell the principal, take him back. So I asked my electrical head of the department to make him sit in the electrical lab. Electrical lab to electrical lab. And again forgot about him. Principal thought that he's under my guidance, but electrical HOD took him under his guidance.
Okay.
After a week, what happened to, I think his name was Harjeet. He used to come with a turban and looked like Jesus Christ, Say, where's Harjeet? Said, you want him back? I said, what? I need to decide what to do with him. He said, madam, he's such an asset to our lab. He knows all the colors of the wire, which student needs what and what has to be given. Today, Harjeet is an electrical engineer. After school, he did his engineering from us, did his EdTech elsewhere, I think IIT Kharagpur. Went abroad and stays in California. When I go to road trips, he joins.
Oh my God, that naughty child in the school.
That naughty child is my branded alumni.
Oh my
and
God.
Starts alumni chapters.
How proud do you feel?
Yeah. And that gives me reason to go and, chill out and travel. And have road trips.
Post-pandemic, we know that technology has somehow taken over education. Like schools, we couldn't go to schools or anything like that. We got introduced to ChatGPT, where even if we have to write an essay, we know it's just a click away. So somehow it has shaken the entire education industry. So what's your say in it?
Coming to ChatGPT, we are in the first phase. See, in our PhD days, we didn't have this software. But later, people who did PhD, you copy and you get caught. So here also, the teacher would know. Now, it is up to the parent also, Like the internet is there, all the time the eyeballs are there.
Right.
Somehow we have to understand what is he browsing. What do I want my child to become? A class 3 student writing an essay where pointers are given, puts the pointers and kind of copy pastes whatever is in ChatGPT, fair enough, even if he's not caught today. Well, you don't want your child to be imaginative. You don't want your child to be formative.
Too much
It's up to you.
shortcuts.
I mean, parents have some responsibility, and it should be shared. I'm not saying that you put people do that, I know, but I would have gone crazy if I'm tracking my child all the time. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you put a camera, but at the same time, the foundation values that once you take your child out, now take him to an art, take him to a museum, an art fair, a film. In fact, I used to go with my father to film societies. At that point of time, we didn't have so many films to watch here. So, so much would depend on the parents' literacy. And parents, what do parents want? If you don't understand, you surrender to the school. So much would depend on the philosophy of the school, what it tells its teachers. I'm sure this won't be liked, but I like intimate schools with less than 2,500 children, 2,000 children. But again, you have big format schools, but then teachers are like doctors.
Right.
So parents also have to depend on teachers and have to keep an eye. I don't think ChatGPT is a challenge. I think it's a boon. It's giving me so much fodder.
Right.
Information overdose, I agree. But then, well, if I have an ailment, the first thing I'll do is Google.
Right.
Doctors won't like it.
Right.
Even I shouldn't probably, but I'll do it.
Out of habit now.
See, it is. Today I have a throat problem. Automatically I go to Google.
Right.
Knowing fully well I shouldn't. So this is going to be there, you like it or not. But I think it's not a problem with the children. It's also a problem with others.
But it's a shortcut for them.
Yeah, people do follow shortcuts. But, at the end of the day, what do you want to become? And this pressure on, everybody wants to become an engineer and a doctor, I think that's coming down, I'll tell you why we started our media school. In fact, we started a media school because I was doing a small little study. Before the board exams, we have our school, first school was CBSE. So, 20 children in a room giving their board exams, pre-boards, and their parents in another room. We asked the parents, just do you have adda? Adda is at least some kind of conversation with your children. And we asked the children, in Bengali, you call it, do you have Baba Mai's shonge adda hoy? Do you have adda, discussion, fun elements with your parents? Both groups gave me the same answer. Children said, no. Why should we? Because their only concern is, you've come out of future school, so you get into a engineering college or whatever.
Right.
And parents say that, what will you talk with them? They only look at their mobiles. That's the answer. So I said, and then I asked the children, why? Somebody likes photography, somebody watches film, somebody loves literature. So it's not, but I think nowadays are changing. Parents are much more aligned to children's passions. And here I would say that liberal education, if you look outside, you can take physics and Western classical. Not only that, you can specialize in, let's say, a piano.
Yeah.
So make it broad-based. In fact, our tagline is wide-angle education.
Wide-angle education.
Wide-angle. Wow. So let technology be there, but give us a free choice.
So at this point, do you feel like parents, after a point of time, also need parental education?
Absolutely. So one of my cousins, he said, it's much easier to handle newborn babies than newborn parents.
Because they already have so much in their head.
And now with Google, I think it's becoming more difficult. Absolutely. Parental. So we do call parents. We have several events in which parents are called so that they have trust on the teaching faculty.
They do. So does experiential learning hold any sort of advantage over traditional learning? What's your perspective on it?
What is traditional learning?
What is
To me,
traditional?
traditional learning is, I can see it before my eyes, is Vishwabharati, as Rabindranath started it. Okay?
Absolutely.
Gurukul. So, teacher student is always there. Now, this teacher can be on screen, can be from the other part of the world, can be somebody sitting next to me. Experiential learning is, of course, good. You have to, like I said, go to a museum, go to an art fair, go to a good concert. So these are things we should tell parents. We have to invest in the child. Later, don't come and say that, we have no conversation with the children. And, if both parents are working, people should share responsibilities. There should be other subjects in the curriculum. That is in my
Absolutely.
wish list, particularly for boys. Some home science, yeah, basic helping your spouse. Nutrition, for example, should be
Absolutely.
there.
Hmm.
Fundamentals of class 11, 12, or even your college students, whatever you're learning, whatever course you're doing, taxes, for example.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you're
important.
thrown into a world the moment you start earning, right? So, budgeting, taxation, these are kind of life skills as much as physical education, playing, and all that. We don't even care about these subjects, but at the end of the day, these
We have to
subjects
live
become
with
your
them.
lifeblood. Insurance, for instance. What is an insurance? When do we take an insurance? Do we take it right after we start earning? When we are young? Sure. I mean, the premiums are much lower. So these are certain things which should be taught in the curriculum.
As we are so much invested in education and educational topics, let's not miss mental health or sex education, because that plays a very, very, very important role in our lives, and we actually don't speak of it much.
Hmm.
Mental health we do, but sex education we try to avoid
Mental
it.
health, we don't.
Right.
You'll be amazed post pandemic among students. In fact, I was talking to some psychiatrists also, because many of our students are facing all this because they were alone in their houses
Right.
and mental health has gone for a toss. I think inclusive education is important and teachers have to be trained. Again, apart from counselors who have to be on the alert, mental health is
Very important
very,
aspect.
very
It
important.
is.
And I think parents are now more aware. They are coming out of their cocoons of not talking about mental health.
Right.
We constantly have seminars where we call parents at times about mental health. Fortunately, we have a department called hospital management. We have undergraduate and postgraduate courses. Future has. So, from that department, we constantly have not only mental health, but other issues also, sometimes on menstrual health, sex education, for instance. I mean, with the internet, you're fed with all sorts of things which may create problems later.
Hmm.
So it is so, so important to make them aware. Apart from the fact that I told you earlier that we need to understand how many hours. My phone will tell me how many hours of viewing. So, what have I viewed? Therefore, I mean, with young adults, sex education, and I think nowadays children are much more vocal,
Yeah, they are.
much more vocal. What they don't like, they say. But at the same time, we did not have these kind of diversions. Okay.
There were no
There were
transparency.
no, so now that is again a big issue. Yeah. I think we need to have classes on sex education.
People
Yes.
need to come up and own it
Yeah.
and speak
I
up.
think we have counselors and we have absolutely designated times where they can come up with any sort of problems, apart from the fact any teacher have to make a prior appointment. My doors are also open. So I have referred many a student to psychiatrists for mental health. Of course, no sex education case came to me, but there are other kinds of hassles involved.
Like you said previously, they just need to come out of that cocoon.
Yeah, yeah. And people have to be accessible. Faculty members and teachers have to be accessible.
Right.
You can't expect a child to speak up in a class,
Absolutely.
also in a group. So if I cannot meet the teacher in her in a private space, or a counselor.
You won't
That
be able to open up.
that is why I said that I like intimate small schools.
As we wrap today's enlightening journey with Dr. Mousumi Ghosh, I know how much it has taught us about education, about finance, mental health, every bit of it. And it's a takeaway not only for us youngsters, but also for parents. So that's a wrap for today. And I know you loved it because I love doing it. And I can't wait for you guys to come up and watch the next podcast. Thank you so much.